Okay, so James Cameron. What can I really say? I only remember two conversations. One was Terminator 2, and he was looking for a way to end it, and he wanted to end it and make sure that the Terminator was gone. So we came up with the whole sacrificing himself and melting down into the metal. And that was supposed to be the end of it, of course. Years later, as he's apt to do, he reversed everything and created Terminator 3 with this magic arm that was in some nobody's safe. Um, but the weird one was the last time I saw James was he tracked me down in Hollywood. And the 90s, like I said, I just wanted to be left alone. And just living under the radar. But I come walking down Highland Ave towards Franklin one day, and as I'm approaching the intersection, one of the window washer hustlers comes running across the intersection diagonally going, "Hey, yo, there's some dude waiting for you out behind the gas station." So I go behind the old Chevron. I think it's an Irving or something now, but it was a Chevron back in the 90s. And sitting on the guardrail behind the gas station was James Cameron. And I'm like, "Yeah, well, what's up? How you doing? What do you need?" And he's like, "Well, I'm making Titanic, and I don't know what to do. I have no idea how to do the story." So I did the whole stowaway, unrequited love, must die in the end, one artistic nude scene, things like that. And I said, we got all the data, so we know what really happened. We can make the sinking look more authentic and such, because we knew about the rivets because of me and Dr. Ballard back in the 80s. But that was a whole nother story. And that involved a whole thing that led to the legacy of what became Titanic, because if it wasn't for me meeting one of the founders of Channel 1 while they were looking for schools to install TVs in, wire up the whole building so that it was all interconnected and you could use it from like office announcements, or you could use it with the VHS in the classroom, or whatever you needed to do in those days. And they just wanted a homeroom in 10 minutes of homeroom time where they could run programming and advertising. And when I talked to Dr. Ballard, he was had already tried a few times to find the Titanic, and I said, "Well, just find it." And he's like, "I don't want to, because it's a graveyard and I'm afraid of what will happen in the future." And I'm like, "Yeah, but I want to make a movie about it someday, and I really need to know what exactly happened and why it did sink." And I said, "You just use the ocean currents and estimate the amount of air in the ship, and know that at different levels the ocean's going in different directions, different currents and stuff." And I said, "But here's the thing, I want you to do a satellite feed to Channel 1 so that the kids in the schools can see this in the morning." And he did. And that helped build many, years before, helped build the audience of these children that were now grown up, that had been watched the expedition, watched the video from finding the Titanic and all that, and now they had a movie, an epic movie, $100 million budget, as James told me. Of course, when I said at the end, I said, "James, I need some money. You came to find me. I'm out here on the streets." He's like, "Well, I didn't bring any money, but I'll be back." So yeah, last time I saw James Cameron, he never paid me for Titanic. And I wish I could remember more, but that's good enough. For now, we'll see what we do in number 8.